So, you wanna learn how to stream Ghost of Tabor, or any other game in general, I suppose. So, naturally, because Ghost of Tabor is a VR game, it requires more steps than your regular flat game streaming. But, of course, everyone will also have their different methods on how to stream VR in general. So, today I'll be showing you how I personally stream Ghost of Tabor. So first we need to discuss the platform to stream Ghost of Tabor. Now I've never actually heard of anyone streaming from standalone before, but I do know that it is technically possible, but we will not be talking about that because I don't do that. So, if you want to stream Ghost of Tabor, your only platform that you should be using is either Steam or the MetaQuest link, as both allow you to use Open Broadcaster software, or OBS for short, to stream. So I would recommend you use Steam, however, or at the very least, when you use MetaQuest link, you then open Steam VR, but that is very resource heavy and it can cause issues with your setup. So I just recommend you use Steam VR as a base. And the reason why I would recommend you use PC VR and by extension Steam is because all the tools that I will be talking about will use Steam, and most of the time they will only work with Steam and not MetaQuest links, so you're gonna want to use Steam VR. So, onto the headset and connection type. So I currently own a Quest 3, and that's what I use to stream Ghost of Tabor. There are also multiple other options. You can use a Valve Index because that's a PC VR native, but for any MetaQuest headsets, you have a few options to connect to your PC. There's first a cable connection and wireless link, but they route you to MetaQuest links, so they're not overly reliable considering we are gonna want to be using Steam VR. So what I would recommend you use is either Steam Link or Virtual Desktop. Steam Link is free on the MetaQuest store, but it is known to have issues whenever the headset has an update. So my personal and preferred method of wireless connection to my PC would be Virtual Desktop. Now, Virtual Desktop is a paid app, yes, but it has by far been the best method I found to do wireless linking with my PC, and it has zero issues with headset updates and anything in general. So I guess we should go over the hardware, which will be your PC, I guess. So I'm no Linus Tech Tips, of course, but if you do not have a PC and you're thinking of building one, you should definitely research parts that you plan to buy. And basically, if it's gonna be a streaming PC, you should get parts that are, more catered towards streaming. And this will basically ensure that you will be able to handle streaming and all the other apps being used simultaneously. I would recommend that you avoid pre-builts or laptops. I mean, they may work, but they're often not built for streaming and are technically more expensive than just buying the individual parts and assembling them yourself. You can just, like I said, you can just go to Linus Tech Tips and they will basically just teach you how to build it yourself, so there's never been an issue. I built my own PC and it's been working fine, and it cost me $3,000, but then again, all things considered, this is relatively high-end for what it is. So to have the best and fastest wireless connection, and this is pretty important because you want no input delay when you are streaming, right? So I use a dedicated router that I have plugged into my PC, and this router has a Wi-Fi 6 connection, and it's like real Wi-Fi 6, not like the MLO stuff that they always lie about. And I almost always have zero latency on my connections. Microphones are very dependent on what you have. If you're unwilling to spend money on external microphones, you can use the Quest built-in microphone, although I have heard that the Quest 3 mic is pretty bad, which is why I use an external microphone that is known as Antlion Mod Mic. It is relatively expensive, there is no doubt about that, but it is miles better than the built-in microphone. And Antlion Mod Mics are one of the most popular choices amongst VR content creators. Although I guess you can also just use any generic microphone that can connect to your PC, but you know, mileage will vary, of course. Battery packs are optional, but also relatively important based on how long you plan to stream. Typically, you would want to choose when you stop stream and not let your headset's lifespan dictate that for you. So firstly, you can opt for built-in battery packs on the Quest head straps. The most reliable ones that I found were from Bobo VR and Kiwi. Though if you're not willing to spend that much money for built-in head straps, you can DIY it yourself with a generic power bank, or you can like maybe strap it onto your headset like one of my content creator friends does, or you can just put it in your pocket, although it's obviously you're gonna have a cable running around, so it's gonna be a little bit disruptive. I would also recommend having just spare batteries nearby for your controllers in case they die midstream or something. And just in general, I would also recommend rechargeable batteries so that you don't have to constantly rebuy new batteries, you know. So now on to our software. Firstly, we of course have Open Broadcaster software. This is the probably the most important thing to use because it's what enables you to stream in the first place, I guess. But there are other options out there, but for simplicity's sake, OBS is just the best option, as Streamlabs OBS, or also known as Slobs, is more geared for beginners, but it doesn't really have as much customizability as OBS. And when we discuss later, you know, why I use OBS, you'll see like all these custom stuff that I use that can only be installed into OBS and its add-ons, plugins, whatever. So we're gonna have a little bit of like a little infinite thing, but I'll basically just go over everything in general. Just ignore this, the whole like this thing over here that goes into infinity. So first off, you have your different scenes. Your end screen for like if you wanna like have like an ending or starting. Scene 2 is just probably is just my backup in case I need to like show something, and typically I would use a window capture for that. I'm only using a display capture to capture this whole thing in general. So in your game under your scenes it's like a folder. This thing opens up into your sources over here, and you can just go get by with a game scene if you're just starting out, but firstly you have the game capture. This will capture your game, and it's basically what you're kind of seeing over here. And then you have the game audio, which will be this. You basically connect it to whatever you have. I currently have it on Half-Life Alyx and whatever, just to do it. If you have music in your background, you can also put this here, and you can basically connect it to like, I don't know, like YouTube or something, or whatever you use to play music. And then you have these so most of these ones over here, you can see like the widgets like game capture. This one is the application audio capture. That's what you basically use for your stuff. But you see you have these two browser sources, and basically what it is that these browser sources are from I believe it is Streamlabs or Stream Elements. And basically you log into that, and then what you do is you basically they will give you a URL, and then you paste it into your here off of the URL that they give you. And then basically on the Streamlabs dashboard itself, as you can call it, if I and you can connect this to YouTube and Twitch as well, but for simplicity's sake, I'll just show you. So this is a test, and then, well, you guys can see it at the moment, but okay, I moved it down here, and as you can see it appeared down here. And also that's another thing is that this is like a order score type thing. And then I guess if we're gonna talk about like alerts and chats and stuff, you can once again you can just configure it in your little thing or whatever, and then in the Streamlabs alert box like subsection, and then we can do tests like right here. And you can put like you can put like an image, you can put how you want the message to appear, and then you can also put like custom audio and stuff like that. You can also do it for YouTube as well. Yeah, same thing, same audio, but it just turns into subscribe because it's over on the whatever. You know, you can also do things for like super chats, you know. You can't hear the audio because it's only client side, but yeah, that's basically about it. And then I'm not gonna talk about VTubing because that doesn't seem that's not really relevant to this. VTubing, if you want to do it yourself, it's a completely different thing. So yeah. And then, as you can see, I actually not have one, but I actually have a vertical stream as well, and that's basically this thing over here called Atom Multistreamer. So what Atom Multistream is just it's available for you to basically do streams to multiple outputs per se. But of course, this will definitely take up more of your internet than usual, because well, it's you're basically streaming to like as many different platforms as you can, right? So what I personally do is my built-in stream, which is what I connect to at first during any stream, will always be Twitch first. So the built-in is Twitch, and then I can add the YouTube output and then the vertical YouTube output. Thank God that didn't show up because I would have to blur that. But basically, what this does is that when you start stream, this will light up over here, and then you can click this and click this to stream to your YouTube. So what do you do? So how do you do the whole like multi-streaming thing? Well, first you gotta go to your YouTube studio. Go to your YouTube studio, and then you go to go live, and then under here you go schedule stream, and then you can either use a template of whatever that you've already used. This is for later, so I'll be doing that later. So I'm gonna be reusing settings, and then basically you can do all this whatever, decide when you want to stream, and then once you click done, it will then pop out a stream. So how do you have more than one stream? Well, typically you see this thing over here. You have a default stream key, but you can also generate a second stream key, which will be defined, which you can rename to shorts key. And then basically what you do after you schedule this is you just go back to your studio, you press go live again, and then you see the Half-Life Alyx regular streaming is already up. I'll go to the shorts here and then basically make the same thing, and then as you will see shortly, you can see this is using a shorts key. So basically this sends two broadcasters to the different keys, and basically that allows you to do multi-streaming. Now back to over here, typically whatever you pop out, whatever is your built-in stream will of course be over here. Well, over here and over here you can like combine stuff like this, but it's not particularly necessary. And then you can basically like shift this anywhere you want, although I typically like to keep it simple. Stuff on the right, mains in the middle, and then vertical onto the right of it. You can make this smaller or bigger as per however you want. And then And then you can also with Atom multi-streaming and vertical, you can also switch like to the different scenes and whatever. So, as per with virtual desktop, so since it's a quest to PC thing, what you're gonna need this as well, and it's basically a virtual desktop streamer. Basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna just basically you just go to virtual desktop home, and then you can download the streamer app from here, which will show this up, and then you can basically just put in your meta username, and then you can touch all of this if you want, but it's not really any of my current concern, as long as it's you know, as long as it works, you know, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's really about it for virtual desktop. You just gotta make sure that this connects with the Wi-Fi that is your that is on your dedicated router if you're using it, or just your same internet in general, and then you'll be able to connect them together. So one of the last things that you need, I guess, is probably one of the most important ones. It's your chat. So obviously you're in VR, so you can't really look at your chat, unlike if you were to be using a playing a flat game, because you can just hop over to your other screen, and then you can just, you know, the rest is history, right? But it's gonna be a little bit different in VR. So if you're like me and you use multi-stream, you're gonna want to see all your chat condensed together. So the first thing that you're gonna want first and foremost, called StreamerBot right here. So StreamerBot is basically allows you to condense all your chats together into, then that's basically what it is. So StreamerBot will pop out like this, and then basically you're gonna want to head over to the platforms, and then your account, and then basically you're gonna want to connect your YouTube and your Google YouTube and Twitch account. And then what you're gonna want to do is click this thing up here called chat, and then basically what it will show you is basically all of your chat. So you can see I have YouTube, I have YouTube Shorts, I'm pretty sure I also have Twitch over here, as you can see. So basically this condenses all the chat, and then you can use it to you know, basically just like see all your chat condensed. But then the other factor is to bring this into the VR world that you're using as well. So what I like to use, or what I used to use, is OVR Toolkit. And OVR Toolkit, I used to use it because you could just attach it to your arm, and then when you attach it to your arm, you can just basically, yeah, you just attach it to your arm, and then it will show up. And then, oh yeah, I also forgot to mention that specifically for the chat, YouTube has an API limit, and once it gets hit, you pretty much cannot see your chat messages. But it does reset. But the reason why I don't really use OVR Toolkit is because it's been relatively, as far as I know, pretty resource intensive. So what I instead opt for is a little something that one of my friends had shown me a while back. So open kneeboard. So thanks. So this is open kneeboard. Open kneeboard. You will go into like settings, and then you will. It's basically like, it was originally intended for like VTOL VR and stuff like that, so you can like pull up a map and to help you and stuff like that. But basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to tabs, and then you're gonna add a tab, you can call it chat, and then basically you would use it to capture this, basically. you use it to capture this. So once so that will send through, and then it'll appear. And then yeah, that's basically how you get chat. It will appear like floating in your world, but you can adjust it with I do believe it's this, and then yeah, it's like the width, the height, and then where it is in general. So that's how you get chat in your VR space. One more thing that I like to use is, but this is not very necessary. It's this thing here called OVR Advanced Settings, and basically what it is it allows you to basically just press like or do an input, and then you can do what they call space dragging or space warping, and it basically allows you to drag yourself anywhere on Steam. So if you're like sitting down and then your game just so happens to not have a seated mode function, then you can drag yourself to make yourself taller to get in line with you know, just whatever in general. But yeah, I think that's all that I can think of at the moment. I don't really know, like I'm not really trying to make this like a how you stream in general. I think this is more so along the lines of how you just stream stuff in general. And yeah, that's basically how I stream Tabor. I hope you guys found this useful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and then if there's anything I left out, or if you have more questions about a specific thing, just put it in the comments. I will try to answer you as soon as possible. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next video. Bye bye everyone.